An Arkansas couple thinks their dream house is the deal of a lifetime. But there's a reason it's such a bargain.
Tell us who you are.
That was the worst thing we could have expected it to say.
And what they don't know will hurt them.
Then I knew there is such thing as ghosts and demons. We had to have help, or we might not survive.
In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. In the summer of 2001, Terry and Blake VanLandingham find the perfect house for their large family in their hometown of Wynne, Arkansas.
I can't believe we did this.
Terry is relieved to find such a nice home in their price range and in a good neighborhood.
It was just so big, and it was old, and it was right in the heart of Wynne. Well, we jumped on it. It was a great buy. My husband worked really, really hard. He drove a truck, which kept him away from home a lot.
We're gonna have to take more routes. Be gone more.
I worked in a law office. I also taught dance part-time.
8-year-old Ethan is Terry and Blake's youngest child. Ethan looks up to his more outgoing sisters. Heather shares a room with her older sister, Brianna.
Heather and Brianna had the most awesome room of the house. It was like an apartment over the garage, and they loved it.
I fell in love with the house because we just had so much room. We could do anything we wanted to and not get in anybody's way.
Isn't it wonderful?
But Brianna's excitement quickly turns to apprehension.
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
Brianna felt like something was watching her.
There was just something about the house that she was uneasy about.
Sorry.
I told her, we'll be all right, it's just a new house. You know, you got to get used to it.
2 weeks after moving in, Terry is doing housework. When she discovers that photos of the children have somehow been turned around.
And I thought, who would do that? That is crazy.
Terry thinks one of the children moved the photos as a prank.
They would be all flat down. And the ones on the wall would be turned backwards. And I questioned everyone in the house. Are you turning the pictures around? And the girls then said, our pictures are turned backwards upstairs too. There were no explanations for that. That was just the beginning.
A month later, Heather and Brianna have another experience that defies explanation.
Hey, Heather, have you seen my hairbrush?
No, you can use mine. I think it's on the dresser.
Okay.
Ethan?
Whenever Ethan can't sleep,
Ethan?
he comes upstairs to stay with his sisters.
Ethan!
We heard this falling down the stairs. We were afraid that it was Ethan. We ran out the door expecting to see Ethan down there. And there was absolutely nothing there. We told my mom and dad about it the next morning.
Mom, we heard some noises last night. Like someone falling down the stairs.
You heard noises?
Yeah, but then when we went to go check, there was no one there.
Blake, could you please check the steps for the girls?
I'll take a look at it when I get home. I gotta go.
Okay.
I don't think they really believed us.
Seriously?
Terry thinks the noises are just the house settling.
And I would just reassure them that there was always going to be noises and a house is going to creak because it's old.
For the next month, nothing unusual happens in the house. Then, one afternoon, the girls return from school to find their bedroom in a shocking state of disarray.
Why would anybody do this? Mom! Who was in our room today?
Oh, girls, clean this mess up.
Mom, we did not do this. Someone was in our room today.
Nobody was in your room today. Now, please have it cleaned up before dinner.
But we didn't do this.
Heather and Brianna both know there is no logical explanation for the wind in the room or the floating trash.
The only thing that I could think of was ghosts.
Mom! Mom, you won't believe it.
What?
I think we have a ghost.
Brianna, it's an old house. You're going to hear noises.
These weren't just noises. A piece of trash floated in the air.
I saw it too.
Brianna is dramatic. She is my little drama queen. I always felt like maybe she was stretching the truth just a little bit.
Brianna, don't you have play rehearsal?
Over the next several months, Heather and Brianna continue to have strange experiences in the house. They have no idea. This is just the beginning of a series of events that will tear their family apart.
Ethan!
Teenage sisters, Heather and Brianna VanLandingham, believe a ghost is responsible for strange sounds, objects moving and even levitating in their home. But nothing has prepared them for what happens next.
I had gone upstairs to get dressed for church, and I saw Brianna standing in the bathroom brushing her hair.
Hey, Bree. What do you think? The blue one or the green one?
And I carried on probably about a 20-minute conversation with her while I was picking out my clothes and getting dressed.
Well, I'm gonna go put this on. I'll meet you downstairs.
Bye, Heather. I love you.
That was really weird to me, because why would she tell me she loved me if she was just gonna see me in a minute?
Bye. Love you too. How'd you get down here before me? What do you mean?
I was freaked out.
You were just up in the bathroom. How'd you pass me on the steps?
I never use that bathroom. I've been down here the whole time.
My mom assured me that there was no possible way that I had talked to Brianna upstairs in the bathroom because she had been doing Brianna's hair the whole time I was upstairs.
You couldn't have seen her.
When I thought about it, I never saw her face. I was truly terrified at that point because I just had a conversation with my sister, and it turns out that there was no way that that was my sister. I had no idea what it was or who it was. My biggest issue was trying to get someone to believe me. It wasn't my imagination. I know what happened.
A few nights later, the entire family will become convinced that they are not alone.
And we all just stopped and just looked like, oh my gosh.
But their strange evening is far from over.
It sounded like a body being thrown down the staircase.
See, I told you there was something in this house.
Yeah, that was strange.
We all knew that there was something that was not right in the house. I was calling Blake every day, saying there is something in our house.
Hello?
It's me, thank goodness you're there. There's strange things happening at the house. We're hearing all kinds of stuff, like it was like a
Slow down, Terry. Are you sure you heard it?
Yes, I heard it. I have ears, I heard it.
There must be a reasonable explanation for everything. We'll talk about it when I get home. I love you.
When you're out on the road and your wife's calling you up and she's telling you that these crazy things are happening at home, you get this gigantic, helpless feeling.
Your man needs to be there, and he wasn't.
The following week, on her way home from shopping, Terry spots a friend of Brianna's walking out of the garage.
What's Mia doing? It's strange.
And we thought that was odd. There's nothing in the garage other than the vehicles. And I couldn't understand why she did that. We go in, everyone's in the den, they're watching TV.
Mia, what were you doing outside?
I never went outside.
But I just saw you come out of the garage.
No one's been outside.
We never saw her face, you know.
But if it wasn't her...
Terry now believes Heather's account of seeing Brianna in the upstairs bathroom, while Brianna was actually downstairs. But Heather never saw her sister's face.
Here is another time that someone else has presented itself, and it's not the person that we thought it was.
She fears an entity is taking the form of friends and family. For what purpose? Terry has no idea.
That is very scary, because then you're like, okay, are you going to go up and start touching people to make sure that that's them?
3 days later, Brianna is getting ready for a dance recital. There are a few minutes before Brianna has to leave, so she watches television to settle her nerves. Unaware, she's being watched.
Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, I'd put it right up there at a 10. She was white. I just never seen her like that.
Something attacked me.
Oh, honey, are you okay?
Brianna could never have done this to herself. But whatever it was had such force that it left marks on her body.
There was no way Brianna could have made those marks herself. My dad's own hand couldn't even leave fingerprint marks that far apart.
Start seeing your child marked up. As a dad, you have this feeling of helplessness. What can I do to defend my children against something like this? I think this was the stone that finally made me realize that, yes, there is something going on here, and it is beyond me.
Blake and Terry move Brianna downstairs. Heather insists on staying in the room.
Are you sure you want to stay up here by yourself?
Don't worry about it.
I personally felt like Brianna was the attention. It was drawn to her, it fed off of her, so I wouldn't have any issues staying in that room.
3 days after Brianna is attacked, Heather is in the upstairs bedroom, alone.
Heather, turn the music down, honey. Heather.
Hey, Mom.
Just keep the music down a little bit, okay?
Sure, Mom.
Several days after an entity attacks her sister Brianna in their bedroom, Heather VanLandingham is alone in the room. She believes the paranormal activity in the home is focused on Brianna, not her.
She was just looking at me. It was weird because I never felt uncomfortable or threatened by her. I really feel like she was trying to let someone know that she had either fallen or been pushed down the stairs.
Terry calls her sister,
Hi, Patty.
who has lived in Wynne a long time, and asks her if she ever heard about anything unusual happening in the house.
Maybe somebody falling down the stairs or fire?
Did someone die falling down the stairs in this house?
When did you say this was?
Terry learns that in the 1950s, the upstairs bedroom had been rented out as a sort of boarding house.
Do you know anything other than that?
There was, however, no record of anyone dying there.
Everything calmed down for a week, but things still went missing. Pictures were still knocked over.
Ethan avoids the brunt of the paranormal activity until one afternoon after school, he goes to the upstairs bedroom looking for Heather.
He came barreling down the stairs, and he said, "Mom, I just had a bat thrown at me upstairs."
Terry believes Heather should not stay in the upstairs bedroom alone.
I never wanted to move out of my room. No matter what, I still loved the space of that room. Anytime I was up there alone, nothing had attacked me or physically touched me.
The entire family is frightened of the entity in their home, but moving is not an option.
It was a hardship to even consider moving financially. We didn't have anything saved, didn't know how we could just up and just leave. We are going to pray, because I think that's the only way that we're going to get rid of it.
Let's hold hands.
I gathered my family together just before I left going out on the road. And I prayed for God to deliver these things from our home. Asking protection on my family while I was gone.
Lord, we know that you are the one in charge, but we need your help. Because whatever's going on here is totally out of our control. Please bless this family, Lord.
The family prays daily for help, but the paranormal activity continues.
We were getting weary. It was really a test of our faith, because we had been praying every day for so long for something good, and it never happened.
Several weeks later, the family's nightmare takes a much darker turn. Brianna goes up to the bedroom to retrieve some of her belongings.
Open the door, Hannah. Open the door. It's locked.
You try to do anything that you can
Unlock the door. It's locked.
to get to your child when they're screaming like that. And yet I could not get inside that room.
Mom, hurry! What's going on?
I try to find anything I can that's going to open up the door.
Brianna? Bree?
And when I get back up to the door, it was silent. There's nothing coming from the room.
Terry has no idea what she'll find behind the bedroom door. For more A Haunting, go to destinationamerica.com.
Open the door, Hannah. Open the door.
Terry VanLandingham struggles to free her daughter from the grip of a violent entity.
Oh, honey.
I can't even describe her horror.
Honey, what happened?
It was a shadow. And it smothered me.
Oh.
She said he was just a black mass, and he was as tall as the ceiling. It had no face.
All right, come on. Let's get out of here.
I made the decision for her. She was not staying there anymore.
Terry and Blake send Brianna to live with family in town.
Come on, it's not like I won't see you again.
I would get her in the mornings, bring her home. She would change her clothes and go to school. But she didn't spend the night at our house anymore. Then I knew that there is such thing as ghosts and demons, and we had to have help, or we might not survive. Started researching anything I could get my hands on that had to do with the supernatural.
An internet search leads Terry to the Central Arkansas Society for Paranormal Research, or CASPER. She speaks to the director, Karen Schillings.
As a ghost hunter, my quest is to provide people with irrefutable evidence that ghosts do exist.
Karen finds the VanLandingham family credible. She decides to bring her entire team in the following week and conduct a full investigation. The paranormal experts will attempt to document the entity's presence using cameras and electromagnetic field detectors. A psychic is also on the team.
When we put a compass in the front room, it spun in circles.
Well, what do you think?
Look.
The psychic that was with me said that most likely that indicated that we were standing within a portal to another dimension. One of the reasons the VanLandingham home could have been haunted is simply because of the location. Some areas are natural portals, and spirits can come and go easily through these portals.
Paranormal experts believe naturally occurring electromagnetic fields can create doorways or portals where spirits can enter the physical world, even spirits who, in life, had no connection to the location.
When we heard about a portal, we were horrified, but at the same time, it gave us security knowing that there really are that many spirits in our home and that we weren't just going crazy.
I thought, how are we going to survive this? If it's full of entities, what are we going to do?
In the upstairs bedroom, Karen and the investigators conduct an electronic voice phenomena, EVP session. They hope to capture the voice of at least one entity on tape.
Why are you here? What do you want with these people?
Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. I am not leaving.
We were all too stunned to say anything. We didn't know exactly what it was, and then it became apparent that it wasn't her voice.
I am not leaving.
After a few seconds, I realized that she was actually channeling a spirit. It was very startling. It just, as quickly as it happened, it was over.
What happened?
Are you okay?
The message was that no matter what, this thing was not leaving.
Karen ends the investigation. It will take at least a week to process the audio and video recordings. The next night, Blake feels the need to conduct his own investigation.
There's things that hasn't been answered for me, and I still got to have some answers.
Blake sets up a camera in the upstairs bedroom. He plans to spend the night in Brianna's old bed and capture any strange activity in the room on video.
The drawer slammed very hard. I got up and went over and checked my camera. Still had plenty of time running on the camera, so I returned to bed.
The next morning, Blake reviews the tape with his family.
You see it? A face.
All of a sudden, there's a partial face with a cat eye. You can see part of the bridge, the nose, a little bit of hair hanging down on the forehead. It looks demonic.
There's something else. I couldn't hear it at the time. You have to crank the sound up.
Release my child from the scene of evil. Release my child from the scene of evil.
And she keeps repeating evil like a broken record.
Blake VanLandingham finds the proof he is looking for.
I just thought, oh my goodness, you know, what I'm thinking I'm dealing with is real.
After his family is terrorized by something he cannot see or understand, Blake VanLandingham conducts his own paranormal investigation.
There's no doubt I've got something in my house. I've never seen anything like it and hope to never meet anything like it personally.
A few days later, paranormal investigator Karen Schillings returns with her findings.
I've got something I really need you guys to hear.
Her team has amplified the recordings they made in the upstairs bedroom. Using filters, they are able to isolate what sounds like voices.
We picked up a lot of interesting EVPs. Here.
Leave this house.
You can hear someone say, "We hate you. We want you out of here. Get out of our house."
Tell us who you are.
The devil.
That was just the worst thing that we could have expected it to say. Even though it felt like we had been in hell in that house, we never expected that.
What are we supposed to do?
I'm just an investigator. I collect the evidence.
Karen tells Terry she has no power to make the entity or entities leave.
I advised Terry and her family to call their clergyman to have the house blessed.
3 nights later, their pastor arrives to bless the home.
It's hard to go to your pastor and tell him you've got evil things in your house. But we thought that if he came and prayed, that would help remove this bad spirit from our house.
Lord God Almighty, we come before you to rid this home of the evil forces occupying it. We know only you have the power to bring light to this darkness and to restore peace to this family.
There was a rush of cold wind. It was like a breeze around us. I felt it was the evil entities just encircling, it was just taunting us.
I was trembling. You could feel just evil in that room. I just kept my head down and my eyes closed because I was afraid that I was going to see something, and I didn't want to see it.
Amen.
I knew that this prayer was not working. We were saddened by that because we really had hoped that that was going to drive it away.
Later that night, the family hopes and prays for restful sleep.
I heard something come into my room. Ethan would come into my room on many occasions and sleep with me because he just never felt comfortable in his own room. I felt something crawl over my feet and just ease under the covers like Ethan always did. And I rolled over. You could see where the covers were raised and there was an indentation in the bed, but there was nothing laying there. I was beyond scared. I couldn't move. I couldn't yell. I was afraid it was going to hurt me.
Lord Jesus, please make it go away.
I just kept praying that it would go away, and I never slept in that room again.
The other children were so petrified that Heather did not sleep upstairs. She slept in the den. Ethan no longer slept in his room at all. We should have left, but you put a lot of money into your home and you think that you're going to be there forever, and that's your dream house, and you're still hoping, you're just still really hoping that you're going to get to enjoy that house like it used to be.
A few days later, Karen Schillings, the paranormal expert, returns alone to investigate. Karen believes the entity is not attached to a particular person, but resides in the house. To test that theory, she asks Terry if she may spend the night alone in the upstairs bedroom.
I did this despite the danger that I might face because I really wanted to capture something undeniable on tape. I could feel it before I saw it. And then I realized that I was nose to nose with this thing. It was horrifying.
Paranormal investigator Karen Schillings comes face to face with a dark entity taunting the VanLandingham family.
I realized that where I was staring should have been a face, but it was just a black hole with a swirling mist in it. It felt horrible. I felt like I was smothering in it, and it was prickling me.
Karen cannot move.
Whatever it was emitting, I was caught up in it, and I commanded it to leave over and over again.
Command you to leave.
And it didn't seem to have any effect on it. And finally, I felt the thing lift off of me.
Karen believes the VanLandingham family has seen this entity several times.
There were multiple occasions where the girls and family members saw this thing. It would be dressed like their friend, it'd be dressed like their relative, and it would have the same type of hair, but they never saw its face. It was something that had no face.
I think that it's a demon maybe manifesting itself into someone else. I just don't think it wants to show itself. That's the whole purpose of not being able to see a face, is it just doesn't want to show itself.
The next morning, Karen tells Terry about her experience.
This thing is very, very evil. And it's really strong. And it wants to stay here.
I've come to the conclusion that there's not much that you can do, or anything really, to make the entities leave.
And the camcorder shut off. I got nothing on tape.
What am I supposed to do?
I suggest you leave. And pray to God this thing stays behind.
She was more than convinced that we needed to leave. It brought such sorrow for us to think that we may not have any other alternative but to leave.
For the family, there is no doubt they must move away. But finding a new home will take time. Terry no longer allows the girls to go up to the bedroom alone. But a few weeks later, Heather goes upstairs by herself to get clothes for school.
I had gotten more comfortable just going up to the room to grab things by myself without needing my mom or dad. I just felt this cold gust of air come from my bathroom, and I was terrified to look.
Fearing for their lives, the VanLandinghams finally give up their dream house.
This was a house that everybody felt love in. We entertained a lot. And all of our children's friends were welcome. They loved being there, and it came to nothing. Nobody wanted to come anymore. Not even us.
They pack up everything in just 3 days and move out.
The stress, the fatigue, the trying to keep the family together, it all takes a toll on you. We rented a home from a family member that had several rental properties. Even though the house was very, very small, at that point we didn't care.
2 days after leaving the house, Terry and Heather returned to look for a phone charger left behind.
Is it in there? Oh, for goodness sakes, Heather, where in the world did you... Find it. Find it.
And Heather and I looked at each other and we ran out of that house as fast as we could.
And with that, the entity reclaims the house as its own.
It robbed all of us of the little childhood that we had left. The house is currently being lived in. The family who lives there now has the upstairs and the staircase blocked off. It is not used. You can go by the house and the bathroom light will be on upstairs. I know there's still something in that house.
In North Carolina, a local cemetery holds a deadly secret.
What if he really is seeing ghosts?
Bodies may lie in peace, but their spirits may be anything but restful.
And what if it doesn't stop? What do we do then?
In America, there is real evil. It lurks in the darkest shadows in our most ordinary towns. Between the worlds we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality.
Come on out! Quit playing games! Gable! If you're in here, show yourself!
Jamie Bruce and Aaron Pennington grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. A longtime couple, they decide to buy a house together in the historic neighborhood of Jackson Acres.
It'll take some work to make it ours, but the foundation is solid, and the neighborhood is great.
Yeah, this house was my first house. Nothing extravagant about it, but it was a start, and it was near Jamie's family.
My vision for the house was being able to raise our children in the backyard and visualizing them being on the swing set and playing and running around and laughing and riding their bikes and calling it our own.
What do you think?
I think it's home.
In the fall of 2008, the couple is settled in their new home with their 2 children, 1-year-old Lacey and 3-year-old Mason.
And this one.
Baseball.
Baseball. What's that one?
Aaron and Jamie enjoy their new neighborhood, but they have no idea that mysterious neighbors will change their lives forever. Almost every week, the family takes advantage of the local parks. One in particular becomes a favorite. Curiously, it's attached to a cemetery.
The cemetery is only a few houses over from my house and across the street, and it's a very old cemetery, family-owned and kept up, and I believe it's as old as Civil War time.
I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna check it out. Okay, we'll wait out here for you.
Jamie notices Mason seems preoccupied with something he sees and hears.
Hey, Mason, are you feeling okay?
I want to go home.
Okay. He wants to go home. Okay, let's go. Come on.
On weeknights, Aaron works the late shift as a manager at a trucking company. Sometimes he doesn't get home until dawn.
Good night, Dad. I love you.
Hey, buddy, let me talk to him. Hey, any idea what time you'll be getting home?
I wish I knew. Still waiting for 2 more trucks to come in.
My work schedule is usually kind of like a 2nd and 3rd shift combined. You go in at 2, 3, but you don't really know when you're going to get home. And it puts a lot more responsibility on Jamie.
I miss him, and the kids miss him, and we just wished he could be home more.
Jamie settles in for another evening without Aaron, but she and her children are not alone.
A man came out of a mule.
Oh, come here, baby girl. Look, Mason, there's nowhere else to hide in here. We are alone. Look, there's no one here.
A few hours later, when Aaron comes home, he learns of his son's dream.
What was unusual about it was because this was totally out of the ordinary for my son to make up something like this.
Oh, hey. What are you doing awake, huh?
He wouldn't go back to bed until you got home.
The next morning, after Aaron and Mason leave the house, Jamie finds herself experiencing the unexplained.
I went walking into the kitchen and all the cabinet doors in the top were opened. My first instinct was maybe I had done this myself. Don't really know why I would have left every single door standing wide open, but that was my first instinct. But still in the back of my mind, it just didn't make sense.
Jamie tries to dismiss the experiences and goes about her routine.
Yeah, let me see those grubby hands of yours. Oh, they're filthy. Filthy, filthy. Other one. All right, buddy. I'm gonna grab you a towel, okay?
But that soon proves to be impossible.
No, I don't want to go back, Will.
I had stepped out of the bathroom to grab a towel to get him out of the bath, and as I stepped into the hall, he started having like a serious conversation.
Mason, are you talking to someone?
And I kind of listened for a minute, couldn't really make out what my son was saying.
Mason, who are you talking to?
Gable.
Is Gable one of your toys?
He's a man.
A man?
He was right till but when he left.
For the first time, Jamie begins to worry. Could Gable be more than a figment of her son's imagination? Could her neighborhood or her house be haunted?
Mason, Mommy and I want to ask you something. Where did you hear the name Gable? Was it on TV or at school?
He told me.
Who told you?
Gable.
And I still kept thinking that maybe he was just imagining, and he kept telling me he was real. He promised he was real.
Honey, we know that Gable isn't a real person.
He's so real.
Okay, well, if he's real, then where is he?
In real.
Gable's in the bedroom? Okay, well, why don't you go and get him? Tell him we want to talk to him.
My heart dropped a little bit at that moment when he said he's back here in the bedroom. And that's when I said, well, if he's back there, go get him. Tell him I want to talk to Gable.
He really did walk back there and talked, said something.
Where's Gable?
Right here.
Gable's where?
Right here.
Well, if he's right there, then why can't I see him?
He's right where?
He continued to say over and over again, Mommy, he's real. He's right here. He's standing right there. He sees you.
He's right here.
Can you ask Gable a question for me? Ask him what 5 + 6 is.
I knew that my son could not add. He knew his ABCs and he knew his colors and he knew how to count, but he did not know how to add. Our mouths just dropped. Oh my gosh. What do you think now? What are you supposed to believe in? Do you believe your child now or not?
Jamie and Aaron are shocked that they may have a ghost lurking in the shadows of their home, and its target may be their son.
It kind of sends some chills up my back. What if there is a ghost in here by the name of Gable, and my son's telling them the truth?
Their friend Pam Marsh is starting to believe it as well.
Stop, it's my turn. I said stop it.
Mason, is Gable going to be joining us for dinner?
Her son's demeanor let us know that this was something very serious by the look on his face.
He has to walk.
We questioned him, and the answers he gave us let us know that he really believed this.
Mason, quit being silly and go get ready for dinner.
Come on, we can't play in here.
It was really odd that he believed so intensely.
I'm beginning to believe him.
Me too.
It was pretty weird, and he was dead serious.
Miss Hamilton?
Yes?
I'm Jamie, Mason's mother.
Of course, good to see you again.
Seeking a rational explanation, Jamie consults Mason's preschool teacher.
Wow, he did very well. Listen, I know this may sound like an odd question, but does the name Gable mean anything to you?
Gable? No, I don't think so.
Mason's been talking about someone named Gable, and I thought maybe it was someone in your class or a character from a book you read to the children.
I've never heard the name Gable before. It's an unusual name. Maybe you heard it on TV.
He couldn't have gotten it from anywhere else, not even off of television. He watched Elmo. I mean, I don't know of anywhere else he could have come up with such a name. I had to finally trust in my child and believe that he was definitely seeing someone or something.
In the following days, Jamie is on high alert, watching for any signs that Gable is real.
At times, I have felt like something was standing behind me and watching me. I was a little unsure if my mom was overreacting or if something really was watching me. You had it in the back of your mind like something wasn't right. Something was, you felt out of place.
Seeking comfort from her friend Pam, Jamie is interrupted, this time, by mysterious sounds.
I just don't know what to say to him anymore. I mean, he talks to Gable more than he talks to me. Oh, please, you know Aaron. He has an explanation for everything. But he doesn't have to spend half the night here alone. I think someone's in the house. Shh, 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 shh. Just hang on a second.
There was nothing there. The kids were fast asleep.
There's something going on in this house, Aaron. I'm hearing noises. There's loud noises.
All right, just slow down.
It sounded like bike chains hitting the floor, and it was loud, and I have no idea how the kids didn't wake up. I don't know how they...
Check the rest of the house.
Yeah, I did. I checked the rest of the house. Everything's fine, but...
I know I heard something coming out of that room.
I believe you did hear something, but it couldn't have been a chain falling. It was probably just something in the heating system.
I myself always look for answers. If it's something's broke, I want to fix it. If it's unexplained, I want to explain it. That's my thought process is there's an explanation for everything.
Aaron never seemed overwhelmed. He was just wanting me to understand that he's listening.
Jamie tries to convince herself there is nothing to fear. that her home is a safe haven where she can be protected from the outside world. But something wants her to feel otherwise.
I looked up at the monitor to check on the children, and I saw smoke, real thick smoke, going from one side of the TV to the next. I got up there, and there was nothing there. There was no smell, there was no smoke, nothing. I called Aaron, and he said that if you saw smoke, then there has to be an explanation as to why there was smoke.
Everything looks fine. Maybe what you saw was static. The camera could have picked up some kind of interference.
No, I know what I saw. It was smoke. Maybe this was Gable.
I thought in the back of my mind that it was possible that there was something that was trying to communicate with me to let me know that it is there and is present.
Oh, whatever it was. It's over now. Nobody got hurt. Let's let it go. Call it a night.
Fine. The children are staying in our room tonight.
Jamie, Aaron, and Mason are finally able to rest. But their daughter Lacey is not. And Jamie is terrified because she knows why.
What are we supposed to do?
My children are my world, and to have something that's scaring them or bothering them is just devastating.
I'll stay out with her tonight.
And what if it doesn't stop? What do we do then?
Jamie is now convinced that the entities seen by her children may not be imaginary.
I've never heard my daughter scream like that. She just kept looking like something was in there.
I mean, she probably just had a bad dream.
Of course, when Jamie told me what had happened, I said, did she have a nightmare? And Jamie's like, no, this is different. She said, Pam, there was actually fear in my little girl's eyes.
I don't believe in ghosts, but I don't know how else to explain it. Stuff like this has been happening ever since Mason started talking to Gable. What if he really is seeing ghosts?
While Aaron again works late, Jamie tries to sleep, unaware that Gable may not be the only entity haunting her house.
I finally braved up enough to pull the covers down, and there was nothing there. When I heard the laugh, it was as loud as I'm talking right now, and only about 2 or 3 feet away from me. And it was just so real. That's when I realized that this was real, that there was definitely something in my house. And at that point, I was terrified.
When Aaron returns home, he knows his family's life has dramatically changed.
We're all now in the living room, all together, one big bedroom.
Now, it's Aaron's turn to listen.
I start hearing this like 3 notes, same rhythm, over and over. And I'm sitting there listening to it and it don't stop. It just don't stop. It goes on for like 5 minutes. I'm thinking, maybe it's the little kids' little toy pianos in the basement, or maybe it's something in my closet. I don't know. I didn't know what it was. I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. What is this noise?
Aaron is determined to find an explanation. But now he himself begins to wonder, what if there isn't one?
And I listened, and sure enough, it was a piano playing, just plain as day, and it sounded like it was in the next room.
What is it?
I've searched the entire house. I can't figure out where it's coming from.
It sounds like our old piano.
We used to have a piano in our home when we first moved there.
That doesn't make any sense.
First Gable, then a child's laughter. Now, terrifying sounds. What could be next?
I woke up to a real muffled sound.
It's like they heard us. We interrupted them.
What I had heard, 100%. I knew that there was no denying that.
Jamie and Aaron both realize they need help, and they need it fast. For more A Haunting, go to destinationamerica.com. Jamie and Aaron are horrified and confused by events occurring in their North Carolina home. Jamie has decided it's time to figure out what could be causing the bizarre behavior.
I finally had to do some research and figure out, how bad these things can actually get. I was bound and determined that I was not gonna let it get to that point.
But helpful information comes in a most unexpected way.
We're back with best-selling author Philip James. Mr. James is a paranormal researcher and investigator, and he's written a new book called Earthbound Spirits. A lot of times we are...
From an unlikely source, Aaron learns for the first time how they might deal with paranormal activity.
The expert had said that if it knows that you're aggravated, it feeds off of that. It's going to continue. It's not going to stop.
Jamie learns that the most important thing she can do to rid her house of the entity is to face her fear.
Mommy?
I'm sorry, sweetie. Did I wake you?
No, it was Gable. He wants to play.
Is Gable here right now?
He's in Rio.
I decided to be strong. I was going to stand up for myself, for my children, and for my home.
Gable, I need you to leave our house now. It's time for Mason to go to bed, and you're keeping him awake.
I looked over that direction, and I told Gable that he needed to leave, that it was time for our son to go to bed.
He told you he's going.
Good.
In the following weeks, the house remains quiet and peaceful. Jamie ignores her fears and reclaims her life. She has no idea that the entities in her home are changing their focus from her children to her.
Something had stepped on the back of my pants legs. It startled me, but I ignored it. As I go to get up the steps, I realized I forgot to cut the dryer on. Something grabbed the back of my calf. I felt like it just wanted me to know that it was still there. At that point, I lost it. I knew then that it can get physical. What happens if it touched my children?
She called me hysterical. She said, something, you need to get home.
He kept pulling me down. Are you okay?
It bothered me to think that if something can touch you, that's a whole different ballgame. Because if they can do that, what else can they do?
Stay out of the basement. I'm on my way. If you're here, I want to see you.
I wanted to let it know, hey, this is my way of inviting you. Got the lights off, it's just me and you.
If you really want me to believe in you, come on out! Quit playing games!
I was so angry at it, I wanted to see it.
But the entity remains hidden.
Gable! If you're in here, show yourself!
When Jamie's friend Pam Marsh learns of the heightened paranormal activity, she enlists the aid of investigators Pam Nance and Ashley Field. After reviewing the past events, they are puzzled until they suddenly make a connection to the graveyard near the home.
The family had visited this cemetery on their property. When they came back from the cemetery, shortly thereafter the activity started, which leads me to believe that they brought something back with them.
When the investigators arrive at the house, they find unusually high levels of electromagnetic energy, signs that supernatural entities are indeed present. They decide to try to communicate with whomever or whatever is occupying the house by videotaping an EVP session and record electronic voice phenomena.
Gable, are you here?
Once the EVP session started, you could feel an energy build in the room.
Are you here because of Mason? Do you want to play with Mason? I know there are others. Who is here with you?
I very rarely hear voices with my naked ear on an investigation, but this investigation was different.
The feeling in the room became just one of complete uneasiness.
It was not going to get better. It was going to get worse.
Jamie, would you turn on the light?
It felt like a bubble was forming on the front of that mirror and pushing out a very negative energy, and it was about to explode.
Paranormal investigators Pam Nance and Ashley Field cannot believe their eyes as they watch something try to emerge through a mirror in Jamie and Aaron's home. An entity. They immediately decide they need to stop.
Many people believe that mirrors can actually act as a portal between our world and the spirit world. There have actually been reports of entities coming through mirrors.
I think there's something trying to get through.
At that moment in time, had I not stopped, I think the activity would have escalated on a level no one had seen yet by what would have been brought in. I knew immediately that I needed to do something before this bubble of negativity exploded outwards into the room.
Investigator Ashley Field has come prepared for a purifying ritual.
The cleansing of the mirrors with this lemon-based water is a Low Country recipe to seal a portal.
The investigator knows that the power is not only in the recipe.
Cleansing is all about intent. It's not a power that anybody gives you. It's all about your intentions, what you're putting out there. If you're putting out good and you're wishing for good and you want the bad gone and you're pushing away negative energy, it's like getting away from bad people.
Now we just have to get rid of what's already here. The sage will free the room of the spirits.
The investigator uses a Native American tradition known as smudging to purify the air.
You start from the center of the room and you move outward, pushing all the negativity out of the room. You start in one room and you keep moving through each room. You have to have a door or a window cracked prior to starting this process so whatever's in there can leave. Otherwise, you're just chasing it from room to room.
Next, she salts the property, a Christian tradition in the South.
Salt's used for its protective qualities. It's a pure substance. It also repels evil. You start from the center of the room and you flick the salt forward. The salt water I used was from an outgoing tide. It's based on the same principle of baptism in the ocean. You always baptize on an outgoing tide to pull away your sins. and the negative.
With the cleansing complete, the investigators hope to be able to confirm that the entities are gone. They are not.
I typically take 3 photographs at a time. The first photograph was normal. Second photograph, there was a very dark shadow coming down across the camera's field of vision. The third photograph, clear again. And at that exact same moment, we did get a spike on our EMF meter.
The investigators conclude there is only one other way to complete the cleansing of the home. They need to return to the place where the bizarre occurrences began.
Pam, come look at this.
When we went back to the cemetery, we were reading the grave markers, and there was a grave for Gabriel.
Gabriel Jackson, 1838 to 1864.
He was the son of the original plantation owner. He had been in the Civil War and had been killed in the Civil War. The trauma of that sudden death is the perfect storm for a restless spirit. We associated that Gabriel with the Gable that the little boy was experiencing.
The investigators also learned that the spirit of the laughing young girl taunting Jamie might also have a physical connection to the area.
In our research, we did find that there was a group of ponds behind the original home place, and the story goes that a young girl drowned there. We suspect that the little girl may have been a slave on the original plantation.
She died a traumatic death, a sudden death. As we've seen through other investigations, she may not realize that she is deceased. She may still think she's living. She's still acting out the same lifestyle she was living before her death.
I feel like that this is still their land in their eyes, and that's why they're still roaming around.
With the investigators now understanding the entities at hand, can they finally free Jamie and her family from their paranormal nightmare? For Jamie and Aaron, what began as a visit from their son Mason's imaginary friend Gable has evolved into a paranormal experience for the entire family. Investigators have determined that more than one entity haunts the home. While they now have an idea who these lost souls might be, they know there is only one way to put them to rest: through the power of prayer.
Now I need you to do something. I need you to say a blessing to complete the cleansing and to reclaim your house.
The homeowner should always be present when you do a cleansing. It's their home. They have to take back ownership. They need to be there with you. They need to reiterate and reinforce what you're doing, because when you leave, it's just them again.
Kind of blessing. Any kind, as long as it's something you truly believe in.
To effectively do a cleanse, it has to be based on what the homeowner believes in.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. God. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever.
Gable! If you're in here, show yourself!
They're gone, aren't they?
Nothing here can hurt you now.
It was a long night, but I really appreciate you all coming. Hey.
Get any sleep?
No sleep. Thank you. You've given me my home back.
We didn't do that. You did that. The power and the rituals came from you. And if anything like this starts up again, just remember, you're strong enough to stop it yourself.
Thank you.
I was very thankful for having them come and to give me that strength and to know that no matter what, I own that home. I knew by them telling me that I could do this and that I was strong enough to do this, that I could do it. And I was determined. I was going to do exactly what they said.
For Jamie, Aaron, Mason, and Lacey, their paranormal nightmare is over.
Hey! Oh, I missed you.
After the cleanse, it was like a huge burden lifted. Jamie was smiling more. She felt validated. It's kind of like we can pick up where we left off, you know. It's time to focus on other stuff.
Oh, it's okay. Hey, it's okay.
Talking with the neighbors made me realize that we were not the only ones experiencing this, and that it was the land, I believe, is where it's all coming from.
Before I'd listened to the stories I've seen on TV, I've always just automatically thought there's always an explanation. Now that I've seen it and heard things, there has to be more. If you're closed-minded to any idea, then the less you're ever going to learn. I would tell any skeptic to be more open-minded. You just need to listen. Just listen.